All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a Smackdown review for February 10th, 2023. Outside of Bloodline stuff, pretty much fucking sucked. Nothing really get excited about except the Bloodline storyline. After the storyline's done, it's pretty much, I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. Assuming Roman Reigns is gonna lose the title, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do if he goes to Hollywood. They'll have to get some big superstars from Raw, I guess. SmackDown's gonna suck without Roman. All right, let's get to it. First up, we got Paul Heyman. He's standing in the ring and by himself with the titles on each shoulder. Paul says, ever since him and Brock Lesnar conquered the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, doesn't offer predictions, he offers spoilers. He says the island of relevancy is under a two-pronged attack. Says Sammy is not here tonight. And then he says, can you imagine Sami Zayn as your world champion? And then he said earlier this week, Cody backed me into a corner. I didn't know Dusty raised a dumbass. And then he says, without these titles, there is no Island of Relevancy, there's no Bloodline, there's no Paul Heyman, and there's no Roman Reigns. And then out of nowhere, behind Paul Heyman, Sami Zayn shows up, says, calm down, Paul. I'm not going to hurt you. If I wanted to, I could drop you like a bag of dirt. You're by yourself. Says Roman Reigns' days as Universal Champion are numbered. I left the bloodline. Jay left on his own. And then he says, does Jimmy side with his abusive cousin or Jay? The way you look at Roman is like the way the sun shines out of his ass. He says the bloodline is on its way out. Roman has 8 days as champion. And he says, and then Heyman puts his hand out. He wants the mic. And then Sammy hugs him real close or whatever. And he says, tell Roman he doesn't need to worry about Cody because I'm gonna be the one to take him down. Really good segment, opening segment. So it looks like Roman Reigns is beating Sami Zayn. It's not gonna happen. Sami Zayn's not gonna be champion. Yeah, so this was a really good segment to open the show. All right, next up we got Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Hit Row. This was pretty much fucking squash match. Drew and Sheamus beat the shit out of Hit Row. Drew hit a belly to belly on Ashante. Sheamus hit a Irish Curse backbreaker, and then he did like 20 to 30 beats of the Baldwin on Top Dollar. Sheamus landed a white noise on Ashante, and then Sheamus hit the Brogue Kick on Ashante for the win. And then after the match, there was a video on the screen of the Viking Raiders. They're pretty much just challenging Sheamus and Drew McIntyre next week for a tag match. And then we got a segment in the back. Jimmy's trying to call Jay. He left the voicemail. Where you at, Oos? He's not picking up his phone. And then we got a segment in the back with Heyman and Jimmy Uso. Heyman says, you can't reach Jay. Jimmy says, I emailed him, man. I emailed him, Oos. Texted him. Called his girl's house. He's not picking up. Paul says, you're going to have to do this on your own. All right, next up we got Braun and Ricochet versus Usos for the tag titles. Looks like Jimmy's gonna have to do it on his own, and then he spots somebody in the crowd, and it's Jey Uso. So the Usos are defending the titles. Jay showed up finally, and then so Ricochet hit a drop kick on Jimmy. Usos hit the Samoan drop combo. One of them tossed Ricochet in the air, and the other one hit the Samoan drop. Ricochet hit a springboard crossbody on Jimmy. Braun and Jay got tagged in. They get the tags. Jay lands a crossbody on Braun for a 2 count. Braun hit a power slam, the running power slam on Jimmy. Ricochet stood on Braun's shoulders, and then Braun walked over to, I think it was Jimmy on the ground. I can't remember. And then he did a swanton off of Braun's shoulders. Jay broke the count. He pulled Ricochet out of the ring. And then Braun went for his Strowman Express spot. So he's about to hit Jay. At the last minute, Jay ducks, and then Braun Strowman goes flying over the fucking announce table. And then Jay hit a diving splash off the top rope of Ricochet for the 3 count. And then the Usos retain the tag titles. Wasn't that shocking. They're not gonna lose till WrestleMania. And then there's a segment in the back with the Usos. Jimmy says, "You in or out, Uso?" Jake says, "I don't know." And then Paul Heyman just came out of nowhere and he says, "Is that your brother?" And Jimmy says, "Yeah, he just left." That was it for that segment. Just trying to build up, see if Jay's gonna leave or not. He's not leaving. Bloodline. Next up, we got Natalia in the ring. He says Shayna is a knockoff Ronda Rousey, and then Shayna Baszler comes out to confront Natalia, and then right after that, Ronda comes out, so she's finally back since she lost the SmackDown Women's title. Shayna attacks. Looks like Ronda and Shayna are gonna go at each other, and then Shayna just attacks Natalia. So they gang up on her, and then Shotzi comes out, and then Shayna and Ronda just beat them both up. And that was it for that. Got another segment in the back. This time it's Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Sami says, "I don't want to put you in a tough spot. It meant the world to me what you did at the Rumble. You don't have to go down with the ship." And then he says, "I acknowledge you." And then Jay says, "You better get out of here with that, Uso." And then, so that's it for that. Next up, we got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Sonya Chelsea. Liv Morgan and Raquel just squashed them. They're boring fucking match. Didn't really care. Next up, we got a interview in the back that was taped, which Michael Cole and Charlotte Flair. Flair says she taught Rhea a lesson 3 years ago. Now I'm gonna put her in her place. Gonna be Charlotte versus Rhea at WrestleMania. All right, next up we got Fatal 4 elimination #1 contenders match for the Intercontinental title. So whoever wins is gonna face Gunther next week on SmackDown. Karrion Kross versus Rey Mysterio versus Madcap Moss versus Santos Escobar. Rey Mysterio hit a senton on Karrion Kross, then he hit a Hurricane Rana on Kross. Moss hit a fallaway slam on Rey, and he tossed Rey into somebody. I forgot who with the fallaway slam. Santos Escobar hit a big boot on Rey for the 2 count. Rey hit a Hurricane Rana on Santos, and then Rey landed a DDT on Kross. Santos Escobar hit the Phantom Driver on Rey for a near fall. And then Santos hit a Hurricane Rana on Madcap Moss for a 2 count. Rey hit the 619, and then Scarlett, right after he did the 619, Scarlett grabbed Rey's feet. And then Madcap Moss landed an elbow on Rey for the 3 count. So it's going to be Madcap Moss versus Gunther next week for the Intercontinental title. I thought for sure Rey Mysterio was going to win, but they're going with Madcap Moss. Should be a good match next week, but we'll see. And then Roman Reigns and Roman's not going to lose to Sami Zayn. And Jey Uso's not leaving the bloodline. Not a chance. So yeah, that was pretty much it for SmackDown. Oh shit, I missed one segment. It was after the main event. Paul Heyman and Jimmy Uso in the back. Paul says, "I would have put you on the phone with Roman. There's no reception in here." And he says, "Your brother is very loyal to you. Roman needs the two of you to stay home, watch the show on TV. Sometimes you see things on TV that you don't see when you're here live." So a lot of dissension in the bloodline right now regarding Jey Uso. So we'll see what happens with that. But he's not going to leave the bloodline. Not a chance. Yeah. So Roman Reigns is going to pretty much beat Sami Zayn next week in his hometown at Elimination Chamber. And if Jey Uso's there, I think Jey's going to help Roman Reigns win. It's gonna look like he's gonna be held. It's probably gonna tease with Sam joining Sammy, but he's not leaving the bloodline. So yeah, that's pretty much it for SmackDown. See you guys.